So hello and welcome to Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where I tell you how to buy junk better. So case in point, this mixed lot that I've just obviously used the classic AM Film Mixologist patented methodology, which is go on the internet, find cheap junk and make a purchase. So that's kind of how it works. So this episode is going to be mainly around the economics of buying mixed lots of car parts. Why do it? Why not do it? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Because some of the time I buy this sort of things, and they're a real winner. And sometimes I buy lots like this and I went like, what on earth I was thinking about? Because there's lots of junk. So in this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about kind of mixed lot for automotive things mainly. So I'm going to use Carbs as an example. What I'm going to try and say should be applicable to a much wider kind of range of things. So yes, this is an example about carbs, but it could apply to other things that are not carb related. That could be auto parts in general. Yeah. So before I make a start, what I want to do is I want to kind of take a brief moment to show you the different items, because this is going to become important later on the episode. So let's take a closer look about what we're working with here. Okay, as you can see, we have got the particularity of this lot is that they're all Zenith carbs. So they're all carbs the same make, but you can see straight away that they're not the same model. Yeah, so we have got this unit here in the middle, which is, I think it's for a Ford A Model A carb. This is very old unit, and it's exceedingly rusty. As you can see, I did put a lot of kind of acetone ATF on all the bits there to try and kind of soften them out. I think this is for Austin flathead early car, maybe 4-cylinder. I need to do a bit of research. And then you've got a couple of this, which as you can see, there are some that have accelerator bumps, like this one and this one. You can see it there. The others don't. So obviously this isn't, they are not exactly the same model. They're not necessarily all complete, and there are some in a bit of a state as well. So this is the lot as it came to me. Let's consider, how these lots come about. So generally speaking, when you get this sort of things for sale nowadays, they come either from a house clear out. So there was gentlemen that maybe had these things in the house, maybe they pass away, and somebody comes into the house, does some house clearing, or even family members maybe, and therefore they just get the stuff and they just put it on eBay, or they just get a house clearance person and takes it all out and they start selling them. So again, in that case, you're dealing with somebody that just plucked this out of a shed and just puts them on the internet, and they don't necessarily know what they're selling. Alternatively, you could have it could be another person that is selling this because they haven't got space in their shed, for example, and they've just got too much junk and they want to get some kind of junk out. So that's how these lots tend to originate, and that's how they are kind of published in a sense to sell on several websites. So now I'm going to try and tell you what are the pros of this so why you should buy this kind of a mixed lot, and then I'm going to tell you the exact opposite, why you shouldn't buy this or be careful when you buy them. So let's start with the pros. Yeah, so straight off the bat, one of the good things about buying this sort of mixed lot, this one in particular, is that cheapness. Yeah, so why are they cheap? Because when you are dealing with a mixed lot like this, the people that generally buy them, especially if it is the end user, yeah, so for example, let's say I've got a Ford Model B engine that I'm doing, and I need the original carb, which is this one, yeah. The problem is that if I wanna buy this, what's the problem? I have got to buy this and all this other junk here. So that is not such great a bargain then for me, yeah. However, if you're someone like me, that I am going to be kind of either rebuilding some of these units or using them as spares, so that's my second one. For me, it's worth it. So you can get cheap stuff in here. As I said before, it's good for spares, so that for me, obviously I'm dealing with some Zenith carbs, and if you look at this carb, this is a carb that I had from my old shop. So I think I bought this unit about a year ago, or even probably 2 years ago now. So I cleaned it up, but I didn't finish it because there was a little bit of damage to the threads of the fuel bowl, and I didn't have the original sort of bolts in there. So actually, if I can obtain kind of original bolts, then that means that I can put this unit back into production. Yeah. And also the other advantage, third advantage of mixed lots, is that when you get carbs like this, what you can do is you can check the original setup of the carbs. Yeah, so for example, I've got this unit here, and I've got kind of all sorts of parts, levers in this bag here, and this one as well, and this. So how does it all fit together? Okay, I've got one of the same model right here and right here, so I could see, okay, how do all the linkages go together in the original one, and therefore I'll be able to make another setup for the original one. Yeah, that's kind of how this stuff works. Then the final advantage of doing this mixed lot thing is that there is the possibility of selling off unwanted bits. So once you go through everything, and let's say I make, you know, one working carb out of this two, and maybe one working carb out of this two, which are more or less the same model or whatever, and I try to build up this two, then I might have some spare parts that I can sell off, and actually I'll probably make a good money out of it. Yeah. So those are the reasons why you should do it. Now let's try and think the other way. Why you shouldn't do it, or what are the kind of disadvantages of buying this sort of units like this. So first one is quite obvious. When you're buying this sort of stuff, generally what attracts you to a mixed lot is one sort of like star or needed item. Yeah, so for example, let's say this carb for a Ford flathead, this Zenith carb for Ford B or Model B, or for Model A or Ford Model B. So let's say you were looking for this unit in particular. Yeah, The problem is that by getting this lot, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbs that have absolutely nothing to do with what is it that you want. So therefore, you end up buying a lot of stuff and a lot of junk that is not exactly what you need. So therefore, that brings a problem that, let's say you get this stuff home, and what happens is that you need to start selling bits off that you don't need. That okay, you might get some money back, but that's time. So the time involved in doing that, you might say, do you know what? Actually, I could use that time to do some other stuff and not start selling off some junk. So that is one consideration that you do need to make. And the other one, which is related to this, is that if you buy this sort of lots and you can't work on other things straight away, what's going to happen is, as I've got this has been kind of hanging around in my workshop for about a year and a bit, in this little box here, and I've got lots of spares and whatnot. Now that, let's say, now I've got slightly bigger workshop, so that's not so much of a problem. But if your storage space is at a real premium, that really isn't a winner, because buying a mixed lot like this demands storage space that you may not want to devote to this sort of stuff. Yeah, and this applies again to any sort of automotive part. Yeah, and especially if you have different automotive parts. Let's say you buy a mixed lot of trim, or you buy a mixed lot of like body panels. The size of that stuff increases, and the storage space that you require also increases quite a lot. So you need to watch out for the storage space demands, which might not be evident when you're there, purchasing the item. And the other one, my final observation about why you shouldn't, or some cons about buying this, is that sometimes I have got a lot of junk in mixed lots parts. So I mean, not so much this one in particular, because I think I'll be able to use kind of a lot of parts. But sometimes I purchase things and straight out of the box I had to just chuck stuff in the bin, because they were kind of old unusable parts that were just junk. So I had to chuck them out, and I needed to discern which was the bits that I need to keep and the bits that I need to chuck in the bin. Okay, so that's very important. When you buy stuff, you need to assume that some of the things you're buying are gonna have to like go straight in the bin. Yep. So for example, let's say here, this unit here, this kind of Ford carb, there's absolutely no guarantee that I will be able to get it to kind of come off, disassemble this. Yeah, so I could have bought this, and if I can't kind of undo the screws without breaking them and whatnot, I'm gonna basically that's gonna be a waste. And then again, if I want to keep it maybe for another project, there's going to be an extra demand on storage space, which is at a premium. So therefore, that's why you need to be really careful when you buy this sort of mixed lots. So anyway, this is kind of comes to the end of the episode. I hope you got something out of it, that this was kind of useful. And I mean, by all means, make your own decisions, analyze the pros and cons, and buy or not buy mixed lots of stuff. If you got any questions, please put it down in the comments, and I will see you on the next episode.